What's up, guys? So continuing the Were They Wasted series in the Tournaments of Power and Dragon Ball Super, we move on to Dispo. So this time we're actually going to start with the manga version of events. Usually we start with the anime. But Dispo in the manga, from his first fight with Goku teaming up with Toppo against him, he seemed like he was going to be really cool and add up to something interesting. So he's zipping around, Goku can't land a hit on him, and then that fight kind of just ends abruptly when Goku goes to fight Jiren. And it's like, oh, okay, so I wonder what Dispo's gonna do next. Like, he seems like he's gonna be kind of interesting, you know? And so they get into it with Vegeta. Unfortunately, we barely see any of that fight. We don't see Dispo do anything at all there. Then he does do something pretty interesting in beating the crap out of Kaba a little bit, which actually could have been a really cool fight and a really cool struggle between Kaba and Dispo while Kale was struggling with the other Pride Troopers. Unfortunately, it was all rendered kind of pointless because Kale grabs Dispo from behind, which kind of shows a little bit of teamwork between their team. But Kaba just gets away anyway and saves Kale anyway, eliminating himself in the process. Like, all of that could have happened without Dispo. Like, Dispo was completely pointless to this pointless scene. But I guess you could say that it does help a little bit more with like Dispo's screen time, I guess you could say. But I would like something that didn't overall end in pointlessness, like the Toppo and Dispo versus Goku. Sure, that was cool and all, and we get to see like Dispo zipping around and everything, but it didn't lead into anything. It was just there, like just to be there. And it just ended so abruptly that it's like, why have that fight to begin with? It didn't amount to anything. And then we have them versus Vegeta, and that doesn't really amount to anything, at least as far as Dispo goes. So overall, it's like, why are you giving Dispo this screen time when he's not really doing anything? Like, why can't you put him up against a couple of like no-name guys to have this more feeling of this battle royale happening, of Dispo eliminating a couple guys here and there, and then there's these other guys over here eliminating some other guys, but instead we have freaking Kale eliminating most of the whole arena of people, and then we have this invisible guy eliminating a bunch of other people too. So I guess what I'm getting at is that this screen time that Dispo's getting didn't really amount to anything except for, hey, this guy is more of a character than these other guys, which doesn't really say much because, I mean, hey, remember Obuni from the anime? Hey, I drew him here and now he's eliminated. But now Dispo is just kind of drawn here and there, and he doesn't really affect much of anything at all. But he's there. Like, he's there showing us that, hey, he's more of a character than your average tournament participant who has no name or characterization whatsoever. And so Dispo has maybe a tiny little smidge of characterization just from his dialogue, I guess. You can get something from his dialogue, but you know, overall it was all completely pointless because it was completely unsatisfactory way that he was eliminated. If they had brought more attention to like his zipping around, like if that was like a special ability that he has that gives him an advantage over people, you know, say his speed, or he has like a booster thing like what the anime did. But he didn't really amount to anything at all. He was just there just to be there, just to fall off of a piece of crumbling stage with Toppo. Now, he wasn't shown to be like the smartest guy, but he wasn't shown to be the stupidest guy. We have no idea how smart he is in this tournament. He's just kind of fighting Goku, then a little tiny bit of Vegeta, which we don't see, and then Kaba. So, okay, he is strong, I guess. But then his elimination shows that he's dumb. Like, he's a Pride Trooper, and he's a part of this like group that seems to be like an elite group of heroes, and yet he's using the rest of his energy to hop from piece to piece to get Toppo and then hop back. But now, since he hopped there, he doesn't have enough energy to do one big hop back to the main stage. Like, how stupid is that? Like, that is the most contrived plot ever. And the fact that he just leaves 17 back over there to go do that makes his character seem even more worthless, because again, we could have had a really awesome fight with him and 17, and 17 is the one to eliminate him. But instead we have this overly contrived plot of getting Toppo and Dispo onto a piece of floating stage to where they can't get back to the main stage. Like, what? You're telling me that you're in the middle of fighting 17 and now you don't have enough energy to jump back to the main stage? You know, if you're out of energy, then 17 was going to eliminate you anyway. I think that would have been a lot more satisfying to have an actual Universe 7 team member eliminate one of the top 3 of the Pride Troopers. And also it would have been a lot more impactful for 17 to eliminate him, because it would have been more build up for 17 and make his exploding himself, quote unquote, a lot more impactful. So yeah, needless to say, I definitely think he was wasted in the manga. He could have been so much more cool. Like, you could have like brought more attention to him zipping around and like why he's zipping around so much kind of stuff, like they did in the anime, so which segues into the anime version of events. So Dispo is first introduced fighting this giant tentacle monster, I think, or octopus monster or something. So like the second they introduce him, you're like, okay, so they're putting a face to this other universe fighter. And it's kind of funny that at first when they introduced him, people were thinking that he was like the same race as Beerus, mainly because of the color and the ears. But I mean, obviously now he is a bunny and Beerus is a cat. So maybe it would have been better if they colored him differently. I don't think people would have thought that if he was just a different color, different shade at least. But anyway, so introducing him in that one scene shows you that, okay, so this guy is probably going to be something more than like a faceless tournament fighter, you know. And you could think that about anybody else, like Rebrand. They made it a point to show her and introduce her. So one advantage that the anime definitely had over the manga is the amount of time that they had to focus on, you know, building some of these guys up. And they had so many episodes to focus on different characters and everything like that. So that might be one major advantage that the anime has. So Dispo kind of wasn't in it a whole lot until probably episode 104, I believe it was, where he actually gets major cred and starting to give Hit a bad time. You know, Hit in the Universe 6 arc was like the guy to beat, and this is some major freaking cred for Dispo. Like, oh man, this guy is, you know, he might not be as strong as Hit in the physically strong or power department, but what puts him over is the fact that he has this major speed, which kind of fits in with his kind of bunny or rabbit personality or physical traits. So we're like, oh man, this guy could actually eliminate Hit. Obviously he doesn't, because Goku jumps in and they have a really cool fight. But we're showing that Dispo is a major force to be reckoned with. Like, he's fighting one of the top guys that we've ever faced in this show from the Universe 6 tournament. So with that, the writers are telling us, watch out for this guy. He's gonna be something. And that's what I was saying about the manga when they were showing him fighting Goku and Goku can't land a hit on him. Like, that is telling you, okay, this guy Dispo, he might cause some trouble later, which it ended up being nothing. But in the anime, yeah, man, episode 104 was like the Dispo building up episode. Unfortunately, we don't see much of him after that until later on when he's fighting Frieza. And this is kind of where his previous build-up comes into play and really ups the suspense and, you know, tension of what's happening. Like, Frieza, yeah, he's a bad guy, but he's still part of Universe 7, and now he's going up against this guy who was so close to eliminating Hit. And even then, he's giving Frieza a hard time. Like, he uses his boost ability, which was an awesome addition, and it gives his character even more cred. Like, and now, like, Frieza basically can't win until Gohan jumps in. And we have this really interesting team up with Frieza and Gohan, and it takes both of them to get Dispo out. So now you have build up for the character, and now you have payoff. Like, you built this guy up, he's like giving Hit a hard time. Now it's gonna take even more than a Golden Frieza to take him out. And so we have a really cool team up, and they have to actually strategize to get past Dispo's boost ability. So overall, you know, Dispo definitely was not wasted in the anime. He actually amounted to something, especially when it comes to Gohan having to sacrifice himself to get this guy out, showing even more how much of a force to be reckoned with Dispo is. So despite not doing much during the majority of the Tournament of Power, which you could say about most every other non-Universe 7 fighter, Dispo was definitely shown to be worthy of being the top 3 of the Pride Troopers, and definitely not wasted in the anime version of events. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with me that he was not wasted in the anime, but was in the manga? As always, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and spread the word about the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by January. Let's see if we can make that happen. So I definitely appreciate any sharing of my videos you guys do. It's very much appreciated. And let's get some more people in here and have some fun. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and take it easy.